In 2018, I experienced one of my biggest shifts in video gaming behavior over the past decade. Overall, the industry is going through some interesting changes with the introduction of Epic and Discord's game marketplaces, and an explosion of games available on Steam and no storefronts. Personally, it was a big change of me, because I moved in with my fiancé, got married, and overall had less time for my old gaming habits. Instead of playing mostly new games, I have played a mix of new and old games over the past year. Here are some of the trends in my gameplay habits that I noticed in 2018. I started working for Zynga in June, and shortly before then I started exploring mobile games, such as Words with Friends Tour. My commute also changed over the past year, and I have more time commuting on the train that I can now spend playing games. One of the genres that I have kept on my phone throughout the year is match-3 titles, including Crazy Cake Swamp, Wonka's World of Candy, and Candy Crush Friends Saga. This is the first year that I really got into mobile gaming, and I have even started playing some of these games outside of my commute. Another trend in my gaming habits that I have noticed in the past year is playing games on easier modes. Since I have less time to play games, I want to get through games quicker, rather than constantly replaying sections of a game. I found myself setting the difficulty level on Wolfenstein 2nd to easy mode, so that I could make progress through the game more quickly. I still enjoy challenge in games, but like the ability to take shortcuts to progress the story. Procedural content generation, POP, has already seen huge success, with level generation in Minecraft, and weapon creation in Borderlands. But this year was the first time that I experienced a game using POP for creating high-fidelity 3D levels. I started playing the Descenders game preview on X1, and really enjoyed the feel of the generated levels, while the early game levels became repetitive after a bit. The later zones in the game added enough terrain configurations to keep the levels diverse and interesting. I'd also tried out some new genres of games this year, including Gone Home. This game has been out for a while, but I finally took the time to play it after downloading it when it was offered through X Live. I enjoyed the pace of the game and the focus on narrative, and it aligned well with my focus on more casual gameplay experiences. As mentioned with Gone Home, I have purchased fewer games directly over the past year, and have taken advantage of more of the games available through X Live and PS Plus. One of my favorites that I replayed this year was Schools of the Shodan, where I played through the DLC content for the first time. Over the past year, I have kept my number of gaming subscriptions steady, while decreasing my number of video streaming subscriptions. These been exploring subscription services for a few years, with the Access and Origin Access, and X Game Pass is shaping up to be a great service as well. I have also been replaying some of favorite games over the past year. Remastered editions, such as Dark Souls, provided a great nudge to encourage me to revisit these classic titles. Between remastered titles, X-backwards compatibility, and classic console releases, there's several options for going back and enjoying older games. This is a trend in my gameplay habits. It blogged about back in 2015, and it's been great seeing more availability of classic titles. Ben Weber is the principal data scientist at Zynga. We're rehiring Brian Francis at Bryant 2012 into with game developers on Havas. There was for Gamasutra. He also runs the DD Twitch channel. 2019 is upon us. Good Lord, what a tumultuous year it's been. We gave a sad goodbye to some stellar studios, saw some proper accounting for the impact of sexual harassment in the game development workplace, and had constant conversation about how game workers can improve their lot in an industry that can call for intense work conditions. Amidst all the challenges, a lot of great developers put out some seriously great games this year, and we are getting a lot of chances at Gamasutra to celebrate them this week. Today, here's some of the games that your humble contributing editor video producer has truly enjoyed in 2018. 1-1-Bit Studios, Frostpunk, was the 2018 game I could never stop thinking about. From the moment my poor survivors eached the totemic generator, sitting in the frozen Arctic North, every decision I spent with this society simulator helped me reckon with the demons of authoritarianism and how much control and the lies you can tell yourself in the name of the greater good. Frostpunk's thoughtful design means that it's not just an arbitrary moral messenger here to warn you of the wills of a police state, a theocratic regime. It's crafted to guide you on a path of different paths of pain points, to remind you that just because you did not commit higher crimes against freedom, your lesser decisions still infringed on the rights of your people. And as the pressure drops, and your city is freed from the frozen snow, in a great sigh of relief, you will look at its become and see how even its physical shape was impacted by how much you did give up in the name of survival. Marvel's Spider-Man is just one emotional pit stop for the well-headed hero who's had a hell of a 2018. He gave his life in the film Infinity War, has reframing his own heroic origins in Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, and when given a shot, Insomniac Games does not waste any time when granted us one of the biggest icons in pop culture. Not only does Marvel's Spider-Man give breath to a dizzying and dynamic traversal system that takes advantage of New York's iconic architecture, Insomniac also uses its mission design and gadget expertise to weave a narrative about the struggles of Peter Parker, and how his selfless nature and faith in other people can be used against him. But it's still not a cynical game. It's quippy, it's cute, and it gives Mary Jane Watson something to do. If superheroes are becoming the modern-day mythological heroes, it's great that Insomniac Games injects a meaningful experience in the middle of its well-honed, well-polished technical achievement. Speaking of mythological heroes, Assassin's Creed Odyssey lands on this list, doing its incredible simulation of the ancient Greek world. It's a massive credit to the world artists, the modelers, the architects, and the designers at Ubisoft around the world, who take the Ubisoft open world model and create a compelling, colorful experience out of it. It's a land where wandering away from the main quest takes you to a gorgeous mountain top that's not just a skybox, but has its own small secrets for you to dig up. Its side quests often go beyond just being part of a to-do list, rather show how vibrant, saucy, and overdramatic the great world could be sometimes. It's a history lesson in sex, drunkenness, and adventure. Interested in human messiness, not just shiny MacGuffin baubles. A lot of games on this celebrate the layering of intricate systems that create flashy and dynamic experiences when they all sync together just right. For Long Sales is not one of those games. It's a slow, lonely push across an apocalyptic landscape that moves at a snail's pace, letting you manage the individual components that push your dilapidated land boat forward. And it's just the right kind of slowness and sadness to stand out in 2018. Locomotive made this game after realizing this important project might just be worth putting out into the broader world. And the company deserves congratulations for making something so polished and thoughtful that it can affect such an emotional attachment to an inanimate object that you learn so much about. Yup, X-Wing Miniatures joins my list again, but for a good reason. I spent much of my gaming time this year anticipating and exploring Fantasy Flight's tour